The part of Raw I'm going to talk about first is Chris Jericho defeating Corporate Kane. This match was just there to make Chris Jericho look good and ready for his Night of Champions match against Randy Orton. And it's going to be an okay to good match because we've got Chris Jericho, a good wrestler, and Randy Orton, who's bringing back his old in-ring character of wrestling ways. So that should be a good match for the pay-per-view. But as for the match in Raw, I thought this was terrible. A terrible match against Chris Jericho, a favourite of mine, and Kane, a guy who got me into wrestling. It's horrible how badly Kane has become, but the WWE are possibly saving his departure for a later date, possibly towards WrestleMania, if not another year. But there's limited things you could do left with a Kane when he's not the way he used to be. Moving on to Jack Swagger, the real American, even though he let us down by losing to the Russian Bulgarian monster in the WWE, Rusev. But Jack Swagger redeems himself, or tries to, by going into a feud with Bo Dallas, because all you've got to do is believe! And he did believe, it seems that way, because he defeats Bo Dallas. And if this feud is going to continue, I think Jack Swagger getting a win back and for Bo Dallas to fight back, I think will help this feud to continue growing with skits and wrestling. So I'll accept this for now as long as the feud continues, because even though I had hoped at the beginning of 2014 by some signs that the WWE were concentrating on the newer talent, the NXT talent coming into Raw and SmackDown, I'm hoping they don't continue going down a path where they're not fulfilling that and they let down Bo Dallas. WWE took the easy route by combining two feuds in one match a few times on Monday Night Raw. Starting off with Paige and Nikki defeating AJ and Brie Bella. The match weren't anything great, but Paige's aggression made it worth watching. Nikki around the ring, helping out where she can, was good. And even though after the match you can see that the WWE are for some reason making AJ and Paige two schoolgirls who may have a crush on each other, but they're playing mind games and stuff with each other. If that's the way the WWE want to portray these two great divas, two of your only great divas you've got, in that kind of way, then I don't know why or where you got that idea from. Nikki and Brie Bella, the feud is not as exciting as I was hoping for, and somehow Nikki's got herself into a triple threat match at Night of Champions, not a fatal 4-way. I question this because the WWE didn't temporarily injure Brie Bella, so she couldn't get herself in this match. But I guess with the power of the McMahons and the authority, that's why they gave Nikki this opportunity. But either way, a fatal 4-way would have continued this combining two feuds in one match, but in a way where it's all against all. Are we expecting for Nikki to become the new Divas Champion? You could hate that because then it's going to be passed on to the Brie Bella and Nikki feud. But at the same time, yes, they could do so many more exciting things between AJ and Paige. But to give us more variety, I guess having a feud between possibly AJ and Nikki, or having the championship between Nikki and Brie might help in some way. The Big Show versus Bray Wyatt feud and match I wanted to see, and in a way still do, but the way that Bray Wyatt is seeming to just be put into matches, put into feuds just because they want to keep him on TV, It's not flowing in the best way possible. Taking nothing away from what the story could eventually offer, the promos or the matches, I just don't feel that Bray Wyatt is flowing that well as he moves through wrestler after wrestler after wrestler in the WWE. The match was alright, not a lot expected from this match, but to have Big Show first take out Bray Wyatt and then go on to take out the Wyatt family. Big Show could go into a handicap match, a 3-on-1, not the stupid tag handicap matches, actual 3-on-1. Yes, there'll be more of a fight for him, but the way Big Show was here, choke slamming the two Wyatt family members while they just stood there and took it, I'm sure he could take out all three of them. But come to the pay-per-view match, I do think that Bray Wyatt may conquer another big obstacle in his way. I don't think the WWE are going to be putting Bray into continued feuds where he doesn't come out looking good in the end. Another example of the WWE using the easy way out was the Usos and Sheamus defeating the Gold Brothers and Cesaro. And just looking at this match from an outside point of view, I think the WWE have the wrong faces and the wrong heels. Because looking at Sheamus, when he came into the ring, got the hot tag, he went crazy around the ring and you could almost feel what was coming. So when you got the guys like Sheamus come into the ring, it gets a bit boring so suddenly, unless you're a massive face fan. So I think turning him as the one to be heel would have been good, and have Cesaro, the guy who got a huge reaction at WrestleMania, the guy who was over with the WWE Universe, the guy who had a better theme song than this freaking alarm theme he had. I feel him with the big swing. Everything was in his favour to be the face, and that I feel would have been the saviour of Cesaro going down this awkward mid-card championship run that he's going through. Usos and the Star Brothers. The Star Brothers were questionable to begin with, but gradually got the fans with them, enjoying their appearance, enjoying their time in the ring. So why turn them heel? Why don't you turn the Usos, who seem to be holding on to that championship longer than probably wanted, why do they not turn heels? The tease of the broken leg, broken ankle sort of thing. Use that to turn them heel. Don't turn the new tag team combined of Cody Rhodes and Goldust heels. Maybe that would have changed your opinion on this feud going forward. But then the finish as well slapped this match down. Cesaro did that sneaky way into the ring, hit the neutralizer, and I'm like, that is the finish! Brilliant! You've got Sheamus who came in looking all hot, only for it to be backfired, and Cesaro takes advantage. Yes, it would be the number one contender pinning the champion, but if Sheamus is going to win at the pay-per-view, or to show that Sheamus is not that hot of a wrestler all the time or anymore, Cesaro, the future, or meant to be the future, could have got the sneaky win and finished perfectly. Counter that point or agree with me, please. I moved the opener to now so I can talk about the John Cena and Paul Heyman segments together. And to start off with, I didn't know how good this was going to be, because you have John Cena locking Paul Heyman in his locker room with Great Khali guarding the door. When you think of a bodyguard, yes, you think of the big, bulky, bigger guys. But if Paul Heyman managed to escape John Cena's locker room and run for it, the Great Khali wouldn't be able to catch up with him. But what does Paul Heyman do? When he manages to get out, he starts showing fear. He starts to beg to Khali to allow him to make a phone call outside of the locker room. And then you have a bit of Khali comedy, which You may laugh, I smiled a bit. But when John Cena eventually comes to collect Paul Heyman, ready for the beatdown or to bring out Lesnar, it picks up quite fast. I thought this was brilliant. John Cena allowing Paul Heyman to eventually stand up to him after John Cena warms the segment up was brilliant. Paul Heyman on the mic is gold. John Cena taking it was gold. Paul Heyman saying, "You fear me, you hate Brock Lesnar. Let it out. You know you're not going to hit me because you're the good guy. Leave all this hatred for Night of Champions because you cannot beat Brock Lesnar without that passion. And when you let that passion out, you could become a Paul Heyman guy." This, as of probably the last few months, probably years, this would have been the way to crack John Cena. He's got an opponent that he no longer can beat. He's got a guy who's overpowering him on the mic. This was brilliant. But after this segment, I don't care how long it went on for, it was brilliant now. After John Cena shoves Paul Heyman down, out comes Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar does the tease like, "I'm not coming into the ring, wait until I fight for money." But they have a brawl after John Cena fights back after being German suplexed. The brawl, I think it was needed, but it was more to add to the benefit of John Cena looking ready for Brock Lesnar this time round. I've seen a few reviews that have said that it weren't needed. You just needed Brock to look good once again. And rightfully so. John Cena should not look good against Brock Lesnar because Brock Lesnar is the beast and John Cena is just not the guy to beat Brock Lesnar. But still, John Cena needs to have some chance of going into this match with some dignity and pride and stuff. So him looking okay in the short brawl they had was enough. Am I looking forward to the match? Yes. I don't want it to become level so John Cena can look like he has a fighting chance. Not after he just got his ass beat at the last pay-per-view. This should be more Brock Lesnar dominating, John Cena possibly looking good at the start of the match. But in the end, Brock Lesnar's going to win and retain his WWE World Heavyweight Championship. I guess it's good to see Naomi back in the WWE as she defeats Cameron via submission, but I just didn't care. Miz and Sandow versus Ziggler and Truth. Zig Truth. Truth Zig. And then having Ziggler defeat The Miz, the champion defeating the number one contender. It just depends on how you see it. You could say that Ziggler is looking good over the number one contender, looking ready to defend his championship, or possibly because he's defending his championship at the pay-per-view, would you not want Miz, who's building himself back up, to look cocky and anything to get a win, a fluky win, over the champion in Miz fashion? But that's not the important thing. We've got the winner there. The thing I looked at was, again, this is another match where the wrestlers possibly are not in the right place. You've got R-Truth, who should have continued being pushed as a heel. He was a comedy heel. He was a working heel. He could have been with The Miz for longer or gone on and been a heel without The Miz. That could have worked and put Truth in a more stronger TV role and a better place than now. Ziggler, I feel that Ziggler keeps on slipping up. So every chance he gets, there are many fans who have their fingers crossed for him. And it feels like now is another one of those occasions. The Miz, yes, he's back with a working character now and he's saving Sandow, but somewhere after he lost the WWE Championship, he slipped up and for a long period of time, he didn't feel like the same guy. So maybe something could have happened to have saved him earlier than now. But let's give this a chance again. And Sandow, I'm sorry, you had him with Cody, brilliant. Him becoming Money in the Bank and facing the likes of John Cena, brilliant for his future. And then it slipped up. And it took them time to find something that was going to save him. And now they found something. So all these characters haven't had the best build-up to the saving grace they seem to be trying to get at now. Going to the pay-per-view match, just so it's not a switch and swerve championship reign, Ziggler to retain. I'm not sure what gave the WWE the idea of having the main event match and the main event segment in the order they did. So I'm going to switch. You had Henry and Rusev with this American special part of the show. And Mark Henry is thanking the WWE for giving him a second chance to redeem something to do with the Olympics. And then Lana saying, shut up, you're going to have bad luck for what happened to you at the Olympics again after Rusev beat you. There's a brawl and I expect the brawl to continue at Night of Champions where Rusev picks up the win. Main event time, which to me was the main event. First, you had Reigns having a promo early in the night, which I'm going to say was quite forgettable. You know, I'm going to batter Seth Rollins, yada, yada, yada. But the Rollins promo, the heel bringing out comedy. Because he's saying how Roman Reigns is a not very smart Samoan gorilla rhino. And Rollins made Roman Reigns the way he is, and Rollins is going to end Roman Reigns at Night of Champions. And instead of getting a DQ finish, ready for Night of Champions where you had the rematch, Reigns beats him the match. So after the likes of Mr. Money in the Bank looking, he can talk the talk, but walk the walk he can some way, just not against Roman Reigns. It looks like Roman Reigns could get another pay-per-view win over Seth Rollins, because I'm not sure if Rollins, apart from using the briefcase or the authority, is going to be able to beat Roman Reigns. And I'm not saying that's the way it should be, because I feel that even though Roman Reigns is still newish as a singles competitor in the WWE going forward to the main event, I still think there's such thing as over strongly booking. Yes, he lost to Randy Orton. Great. That benefited Randy Orton. Just don't go back to making Roman Reigns look like this unbeatable force again. Because Seth Rollins is a very likeable guy. He has a strong future, I do believe. And I want to see Seth Rollins progress eventually away from the authority and on his own. So when it comes to the Night of Champions match, I'm going to say Roman Reigns to win, but I want to see a DQ finish. Now people, please share your thoughts on what I thought weren't a very good Raw. A few thumbs up, but mainly thumbs down. And that seems to be a trend in the WWE as of recently. And I'm going to say this again. Bring in writers who are sport professionals.